Welcome back to Flint Creek Transport. My name is Justin.
Today, got a couple projects we're working on here. One is going to be this service truck. This service truck was one that was wrecked, and they got to get the name burned off of it, and then this thing is going to go to auction. Still runs and drives, but obviously that crinkle in the door, we got a service truck to replace it, so this one's going to go down the road. We got to get it cleaned out. Well, it's cleaned out for the most part, but we got to get the air compressor and stuff out of it because, well, they've been using it a little bit. We've been having some issues with our air compressor in the shop and working on updating that. This air compressor will come out. So what I wanted to show you guys today is I'm taking this little van down the road. It's dropping some parts off. So these are some panels. These are some panels for the belt trailer. So I'm only going like probably not even a mile down the road. There's a guy that does some work on our trailers, and our guys are busy in the shop getting things serviced. So we're gonna have another guy do it for us. A lot of our work is in the shop is just more so basic service work. We do get into some odds and ends, sometimes, but for the most part, we try to keep our trucks serviced, and we watch if we're running a little bit behind services. Well, then, if we have stuff like this trailer that got damaged, we farm some of that stuff out to other shops. But we're just coming off our busy mulch season, and we're getting caught back up on services, but we have a lot of other things going on in the shop too. So we gotta get the floors swapped out. There's a bit going on, so we wanna stay ahead of the curve and also get ahead of the curve. So that's why we're sending this out. Let's go see how far he got on the trailer. I wanted to get some footage of it while it was damaged. So we'll see if he got it tore apart or not. All right, guys, I'll give you a quick look here. So this is what a sign did. You can see it tore right through that sidewall. And unfortunately, this was right at this is panels. Let me, you can see here's the panels that I dropped off. That they're like 4 foot wide, 5 foot maybe. And they stand up right here, and it's right in between two panels. So we have to replace this panel, and we got to replace this panel. So we got the panels in finally, and the guy is down here getting this fixed up. I'll give you a little peek from the inside. So from the outside, right, these walls they might look tough or look like a double wall, but they're really not that thick. And you can see here how thin it is. And it's not that this is an old trailer. This is actually a fairly new trailer, but this is a common sidewall for a lot of trailers. A sheet and post trailer. This is a very common sidewall. So another option that you can do is you can also do, actually, you know what, hold on, let me show you. So here you can see the panels, right? Here's a panel, here's a panel, and you can see how it's right in the middle. So if it would have happened like here, we would just replace one panel. But being it happened right at a seam, you got to replace both panels. Kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. All right, guys, and while we're talking about trailers and sidewalls, I just want to show you the differences between some of these trailers and the sidewalls, right? So we have another Western belt over there, and you also can get exterior panel that's basically the same thickness as the like the panels I took down there, the inside wall. You can get it paneled on the exterior, and it just lays right across there. So I never do that. I don't know, it seemed like in a situation like this, I don't know if it would make it worse or better if I'd have to replace two sections, but I don't know. There's pros and cons, and what I want to do here is show you here the difference between some of these trailers. So this is our Titan thin wall. This trailer is a double wall it's a double wall. So it's difficult to see. I'm not sure where I could show you what the wall looks like. Let me see if there's a spot back here that I can show you what these panels look like. But there's seams in here and they run this way. So yeah, I don't see any panel. I don't see it, like, but it's about 1.25 inches thick. The sidewall, maybe 2 inches, somewhere in there. And it's a double wall. So, because I know it's a double wall because some of our other trailers we've scratched or we've broken through the first part and then we had to fix it. So it does happen, like they scrape a sign, and then that's the benefit is, like, if you do scrape a sign or do have an issue with the sidewall, you know, you can fix it just with some aluminum weld. But because it's aluminum, it's not going to break through near as quickly. Now the con is that this, you know, these style of trailers, like our Titan walk-in floors, they're a lot heavier than the belt trailers. So, you know, it's going to be a couple thousand pounds heavier. And some of the reason why I always get Western makes a great trailer, is there's not really another option for like all aluminum belt trailers. And there is, I think Trout River makes some with aluminum sidewalls, but then it's not a continuous belt. It is more of a belt that, it's a wide belt that goes out and then it has to come back in. So it's not a continuous belt. So Mack, Trailstar, you can see some of the trailers sitting here. Trailstar is basically the same as a Mack, but they all make different styles. And this style is a single wall here. But if you bust through on the inside, you know, this would also be, this is hollow, but you know, that part would be obviously double walled. But it is kind of gives you an idea. Over here we have a double wall trailer. So this is kind of like the panels on the Titan, but these are running up and down versus the other way, horizontally. And but still double wall trailer. Single wall trailer, you can see how some of these pushing out, it gets damaged or bumped, but that's some of the difference. Here's one more double wall trailer. So there's different options depending on what you're hauling, depending on a lot of things, and there's pros and cons. But yeah, that gives you a little look at our belt trailers. And you know, the other thing that I wanted to talk about too is, you know, how do you handle, like, this was obviously a driver's mistake. And let me tell you, you know, I've made plenty of mistakes. I've bumped into cars, I've hit things, I've done a lot of mistakes on my own. And we have a safety program, or like a safety bonus set up. So every quarter, if they don't have any accidents or any damage done, they get that safety bonus. If they do, it comes off of that. So obviously this damage isn't, it is gonna take his bonus. But we also look to how many, like, is this happening every month? Is it happening once a week? Is it happening once a year? You know, and our drivers do very well. I mean, mistakes happen. This guy's been with us for quite a while and he usually does pretty decent. So sometimes you just have one of those moments. And that is the crazy thing about driving truck, is one little moment, one little brain freeze or brain fart, and it can do several $1,000s worth of damage. So that's why you always gotta be on your A game, and you gotta make sure that you're safe and you double check. So I also want to show you what we have going on here in the shop. We have one of our Titans in here getting some work done to it. This trailer was built in March of 2020. And as you can see here, the hangers are gone. So with these walking floor trailers, Titan builds the trailer, I should say the frame, the cross members, the sidewalls, the design of the trailer, kind of the strength of the trailer. That's what Titan builds. And then the floor is built by Keith. The tarp, obviously, it comes from eCargo, or it comes from different tarp companies. The axles come from another company. Like this is Hendrickson, and tires, rims, like there's a lot of other components that go into a walking floor trailer. But I wanted to show you with this is we had some issue with this trailer with the axles. So originally we had bought all of our Titan walking floors with SAF Holland axles. We had issues with those cracking, and so we switched to Hendrickson. And this one is a bit unique. I think this is one of the first Hendricksons that we put back on the trailers after some of our Titans were bad, maybe or soon after we started. And it's something that we always keep an eye on with these walking floors. But we had some cracking going on, and I'll show you here. These are the hangers that were on it. So here's one. And here's another. So it just starts cracking. And what is weird, you know, I've seen this happen multiple times on the front, and oftentimes it's not the hangers. Like with SAF Holland, it was the axles where it was the welds went onto the axle. I don't know if I can show you. These are designed a little bit different, but like in here and on the inside is what it's welded, and that's where we were starting to see cracking. This is the back axle, and for the back axle to have the hangers crack like that, that is very weird. That should not be. That does concern me a little bit. The front axle is one thing, you know, because the front axle you get a lot more twist and pull, but these are still looking good back here. So it's kind of weird that the back axle hangers are bad. Like I said, this trailer is about 5 years old, built in March of 2020. And it's one of those things, you know, you got to keep an eye on. Also, one of the things that they're doing, so they have the new hangers, and they also, there's corrosion that goes. So the hangers are steel, and this is aluminum. So they try to put a plate in there. You can see what's left of it here, or caulk, or whatever else. And oftentimes, you know, after about 4 or 5 years, it needs to get resealed. So it just starts to push. I don't know if I can show you what it looks like on this one. That gives you a little idea. That one almost looks like it has been resealed, but it will start to really push and get corroded in there. So gives you a little idea of what's going on. And guys, I would say if you have Hendrickson axles, it's definitely something to check those hangers. Like I said, this is only 5 years old. This disc brake. Check your axles, check those hangers, and you can start with, you know, they just start with a hairline crack, just a small crack. And outside the shop, we got this young man running tires. My second oldest son.
All right, guys, thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Peace out.